Hello stamping friends, Kelly Acheson at stampabove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today I have a super cute card to share with you on my Feature Friday video. I'm going to be using the Party Panda stamp set. This is free during Celebration. And Celebration is all about free stuff. So when you place a $50 order, you've got several different items in this brochure. This stamp set is one of them you can get for free. So it's a great time to stock up on cardstock and ribbon and adhesives, embellishments, re-inkers. Remember, we have 5 in colors that are retiring with this current big catalog. So you'll want to get those re-inkers and any extra cardstock or ribbon that you might need, because once those are announced, they go really quickly. Okay, want to see this card? Oh my gosh, this is so cute. So I am stuck on spinner cards. How sweet is that? I made a couple of them last week for my Facebook Live. You can join me Sunday nights at 6 p.m. on my Facebook page, A Stamp Above, Your Creative Coach. And so now I just made one with the Party Pandas, and this guy looks like he is having a blast. Let's get started and I'll show you how to do this. I'm going to bring in all my cardstock layers first. I've got Calypso Coral that's 5.5 by 8.5. I've got a piece of Whisper White that's 4 by 5.25. This is for our inside. I've got 2 pieces of the Bubble and Fizz Designer Series paper that are 1/2 inch by 5.25. I've got a white layer here that's 3.25 by 5.5, and another Bubble and Fizz layer that is 3.25 by 5.5. And then I've got a white scrap and a Calypso Coral scrap and pennies for our spinner mechanism. The first thing I'm going to do here is die cut. I need a white stitched shapes circle and a Calypso Coral scallop circle. And I'm getting these from the stitch shape framelits. You get circles, squares, and ovals, and then the layering circles has all the circles and a bunch of scallops that match, making them just a little bit bigger, so you can layer nicely. I'm going to die cut these and I will be right back. And here we go. We are ready to roll. This is a really easy card to make, even though it looks like it might be complicated. I'm going to bring in my Memento ink and my Calypso Coral ink. And we're going to take our little Party Panda. I like this one. I thought it was perfect with the party hat on it. And we're going to stamp that right on our die cut circle. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in my card base. I'm going to burnish that. And I wanted to stamp a little decoration down here on this bottom edge. So that's where I came up with the happy birthday right on the bottom. And I'm just going to kind of do it kind of hodgepodgey because it's super, super hard to get that straight. And if you do it like this, it looks like you meant it to be crooked, right? So if you wanted to do it straight, you can. You're a better stamper than I am. I'm going to put my Party Panda right on my scallop layer here. And then I brought in my Stampin' Blend markers. These Stampin' Blends are fabulous. These are alcohol markers that you can do some really beautiful artsy stuff with. We've got 26 different colors here. There's a kit. This is a fun card kit. Comes with a whole bunch of stuff. Stamp set here. But you can get all 26 of these alcohol markers for $121.50. If you choose to buy something like that during Celebration, you get 2 free Celebration items. And I am using the Bubbles and Fizz Designer Series paper. You can get that whole pack for free, as well as the Party Pandas. So it's a great time. If you need to stock up on Stampin' Blends, it's a great time to do that. If you would like a copy of this brochure, just pop me an email at kelly@stampabove.com. I'd be happy to send it to you. It's got some great tips in here, some really pretty projects too. Okay, back to our card, back to our regularly scheduled program. I am going to color my hat with the light Calypso Coral. Now these Stampin' Blend alcohol markers come with a light and a dark, and you can get either or both. And then I'm also using the, I think this is light, yep, Daffodil Light, and I'm just gonna color in the little polka dots here. You always want to make sure you're using the Memento ink pad with the Stampin' Blends because other ink pads will bleed. And then I've got the light Smoky Slate here, and I just kind of wanted to add a little bit of ground. Super simple, nothing too complicated. All right, I'm going to close this black up before I have an accident. And now what I'm going to do is take the white 3 1/4 by 5 1/2, and by the way, this is just a smidge smaller than 5 1/2 inches, and I'm going to layer it with the Bubbles and Fizz. So you can see it's just a little bit smaller here because I didn't want that white to stick out over the front. I'm actually using this for support because we're going to put that spinner mechanism in this designer series paper, and you know designer series paper is pretty lightweight. So I'm just adding a layer of white behind it as support so that we don't have any problems with it once we put our spinner mechanism in there. Okay, then I'm coming in with the classic label punch. This punch fits perfectly. Now here's the deal. If your cardstock is 3 1/4 inches wide here, you're going to pull it down to the end, push it all the way in, and then leave about, I don't know, about a 1/2 inch on each end. And now I'm just going to slide it down and again keep it pushed all the way in and punch again. Now this mechanism isn't quite wide enough for our dimensionals. And that's what makes the spinner, I should say, not slider, the spinner work. So we need to make this a little bit wider. By making this 3 1/4 inches wide, we can turn this around, slide it back in here, and just punch out a smidgen. You can see there's just a tiny little bit in there to make that just a tiny bit wider. And that's all I'm doing here. Slide it down again. Everything's nice and straight. Let me get rid of this. One piece that I forgot to show you is another piece of the designer series paper. This is 1 inch by 5 1/4. This is going to go on the front of our card, and it's going to go under where that channel is so that your card just flows nicely together. You could use a coordinating color under here, but I didn't want to make that channel a focal point on this card. It's just going to blend in nicely like this. Okay, now we're going to use some foam adhesive strips. I like to cut mine like this for whatever size I might be needing because it's easier for me to get them off when they're already cut to the size that I need. And I'm just going to put that about a little less than a 1/2 inch away from this mechanism. You want to give it some good support. And here's another one. These foam adhesive strips are fabulous. Oh, this is getting a little long. You don't want it to go over the ends. And then the foam adhesive strips is just a little bit taller than dimensionals. So I'm going to not use dimensionals on the edges here for some extra support. I'm going to use little pieces of the foam adhesive strips because I want my card front here to all be the same height, right? I don't know, I think it would look kind of goofy. Okay, this is ready to rock. I'm going to set this aside for a second, and I'm going to bring in 2 pennies. I'm going to put a dimensional in between the 2 pennies and stack them up. Just like that. Now I'm going to set those 2 pennies right inside this channel, and you can kind of bend it a little bit to get them in there. Let's make sure this is going to slide and, I mean spin. I keep saying slide, but I mean spin. And we're going to get it rolling. There we go. Now it's rolling. Play with it a little bit. Make sure it's going back and forth good. We are ready to put this on the front. Peel off the backing. Remember when we used to have the backing from the sticky strip, that red line tape laying all over? Now we have these all over your house. Okay, I'm just going to place this right on top of my card. And it looks like my piece might be a little big here, you guys. So I'm going to bring in some big scissors and see if I can accomplish this without wrecking it. And I think I did it. You never know when you bring in the scissors, right? Okay, here we go. Here's our panda. And then rather than add height by putting another dimensional on here, I am going to add some mini glue dots to my penny instead of a dimensional. And did you know your bone folder is awesome for picking up mini glue dots? For some reason they don't stick to it. They'll stick to your fingers, they'll stick to everything else, but not so much a bone folder. Okay, set that right in the middle. We have one more thing to do before we're done. I chose to use the Big on Birthdays, and I'm going to use this Wishing You a Very Happy Birthday for the inside. When I have a big stamp like this, I kind of like to leave it lay on my table and ink it up so I can see what's going on with it. I'm going to stamp that right in the middle here. This is our inside layer. Ooh, that turned out nice. And then don't neglect the insides of your cards. They can be pretty too. Just going to put a little bit of glue here and add these 1/2 inch strips. So these are 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. Boy, this is a lot of brightness when you open up this card, isn't it? But the front is so fun. I think the inside needs to be fun too. All right, here we go. I told you this is going to be super, super easy, right? Here is our spinner card. Isn't that fun? You guys can do this. It is a blast. Okay, one more thing. I almost forgot. We've got some of our lemon lime ombre ribbon, and I just felt like this card needed a little something as I'm spinning it back and forth and telling you that, oh yeah, it's done. I'm like, this is missing something. Yep, it's missing the ribbon. So I'm just going to wrap this around here and tie it in a knot. There we go. Trim this off. Now my card is done. There we go. Spinner, spinner. Fun little panda. That guy looks like he is ready for a party, doesn't he? Oh my gosh. Love it. Thanks so much for joining me for this video today. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to earn your business. You can pop me an email at kelly@astampabove.com. I would be happy to send you our current catalogs. And if you are planning on placing an order today, I always appreciate your orders. Please use the March host code, which is GU92TRT4. When you use this host code on your orders under $50, you get entered in a drawing to win a free stamp set of your choice. If your order's over $50, do not use the host code. You're going to get your own Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up! And I will still enter you in the drawing. It's just something that I like to do for my customers as a thank you for your support. I really appreciate all your orders. Don't forget to join me on Facebook at 6 p.m. Central Time on Sunday evenings. You'll find my page at A Stamp Above Your Creative Coach. Just do a search for that in the search window and you will find me, and we're going to have some fun. Stamping, of course. Live stamping is a blast. Okay, you guys, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.